When you're about to get into the cold tub, what was going through your mind in that specific instance? What were you thinking? What were you doing with your body, breathing? How are you preparing yourself? And then once you dunked, what were you consciously choosing to do in the tub before you got out that changed your experience, hopefully for the better?
Yeah. The everybody's going to have a fear response or a physiological response to some capacity, right? And one of the things that I've done now with my ice practice or cold practice is my goal is to get my breath calm, like low and slow as soon as I can, right? And I might have to do a couple like, just before I get in, right? But once I get in, once my feet hit, and once I drop down into the tub, naturally, the heart rate goes up. It's like right? Like, and my goal is to bring it calm and smooth as soon as I possibly can. So be still, be calm, and just be, right? And I found that when I'm just being in the cold environment, that's when I'm able to like go the longest. That's when it's the clearest. That's when I'm the stillest, the quietest. That's when I get the most benefits of it. And things it gets cold, right? Sometimes my hands are above, sometimes my hands are below. And same thing when I dunk at the end. If I've got enough space to dip my head in, I'll do that, and I'll come up and I'll wait till my breath is calm in order to get out. I'll typically do that. Okay. And then I'll get up and get out, right? But people are going to react differently. And a lot of times it is a big shock. Maybe if it's a new thing for somebody, I mean, it's like getting dunked in cold water, your body's going to react. It's just the way that it is. And maybe you've adapted, maybe you haven't. If you haven't adapted, then that could be more of a shock than if you have. But it's about getting
like
control of that breath.
Yeah, it sounds like getting control of the breath and doing these intentional breathing exercises can, to an extent, stop the fear response from completely taking over. I don't think there's any way that you'll be able to completely subdue that, but from what you're describing, it sounds like you use the breath work, you leverage the breath work to put yourself in a position to just be in the tub and focus on being rather than focus on the fear, and that allows you to sink into a state of being present and in a some sick way, some get strapped, stay strapped way, enjoying the experience of being dunked into freezing water, dunking yourself into freezing water.
Yeah, I mean, it can be enjoyable. It can, especially, I really like if we are in a tub and there is a ton of ice, like you get a couple 100 pounds of ice in a big tub, like get a nice layer, kind of get underneath it, and a layer kind of like sits on your chest, and it's like you're kind of like snug in there. It's pretty nice. But one thing I have noticed is whether it's someone's first ice bath or 100th ice bath, like typically within 30, 45 seconds, most people can get calm. And if you are doing it with someone else, right? Like I've had experiences where I've been leading, or co-leading the ice bath portion, right, of a particular event, like the breathing in the bath portion, and someone will come in and they'll sink down in the tub and they have that response, and what we'll do is we'll just lock eyes, right? And if you're the calmest person in the room at that moment and you don't let the gaze up, right, that person's going to settle down into your spot, right? You sync breaths, you sync energies, and you just sit and you lock eyes.
I'm half expecting you to push yourself out of an ice tub as we end off this podcast. So the entire time your lower half has just been submerged in an ice tub, talking at a normal, calm voice, and it's just we can attempt that one day. I'm definitely going to have to adapt my body much closer to the way that you've adapted it to even achieve a 5 or a 10-minute podcast at that state.
The body does adapt, right? And it is something where you can get better over time with it, but it starts to feel good, and like that like you said, kind of like weird way, in a way that things that are good for you start to feel good, right? You start eating a little bit better, and maybe the clean food does taste a little bit better, and you start working out a little bit, and maybe it does kind of feel good when you get in the gym, right? Yeah, it's a pain in the ass. I know it's a pain in the ass, but it feels good, and you know it, right? And it starts to get better, and those things do happen. They do happen, and it's fucking good for you. It's good for you.
Hey guys, thank you so much for watching. As a reminder, you can become a premium subscriber today. Watch the full, uncut, 2+ hour episodes of the Auxoro podcast, plus gain access to 2 bonus episodes every month at auxoro.supercast.tech. Link is also in the description. Thank you so much for supporting quality content from independent creators like myself. Cheers.